Mike Henderson here again with another installment, the next installment, which at this point I think is part 5. And we just talked about going through the short synopsis, wherein we have we've done our little 3-act outline. We have a premise, and we have a very short sort of a brainstorming session of what is going to happen next. Now in this software we go to the extended synopsis. And over here shows up the short synopsis. You can't edit this here. You can still edit the short synopsis by going back to the short synopsis, but this is I just cut and paste it so you can do that. And that's basically all I have in here. You see it's still 347 words, which is what the short synopsis was. Because what I want to do is illustrate something. So let's whiten this out. Now how long should this be? So it's time to expand your short synopsis. It's really fun because and it is. You're starting to add detail. So this is where this sort of the idea of the snowflake method. We started with this thing, and I have an outline of it now, kind of a short description or a short synopsis. And now I'm going to add some meat to it. And you got free reign. It's free to a large degree. I call it a free thought outline. It's not So if it turns out to be, it should be 4 or 5 pages, but if it turns out to be 10 pages, so be it. You can always cut it down and whatever you want to do. So so this gives you a description of what they want you to do here. We'll get out of there. So here it is. James Lane is sitting in the cockpit of his transport ship laughing at an old TV show. Okay, so he's talking to his only companion on the trip, a robot. So what do I want to put here? Who knows? I can just flesh it out. The blue light of the control panel illuminates Jim Lane's face as he's sitting watching the show. And so forth. Whatever it is. You don't have to cut and paste this. You can start all over again. But I like to cut and paste it. And you come up with the story. Now this is a very short story, but I should have all of the plot points here, right? Okay, so he says they're light years from it. And there's one on board, but he can't. Reflects what it would be. Okay, he finally locates it, and he has to install it. Requires a spacewalk. Okay, so James hates going into space. So we have his reaction to it. Whoops. How does he feel? Talks to the robot, and so forth. My hands are cold. I don't know why I can't type. And so forth. Okay. And you flesh this out. Now here is the cool thing about what this does. Every paragraph here can be turned into a scene. So this is probably the most useful part of this, because if I do this correctly, so I have the first part of the scene. Now, to a large degree, this whole thing is a short story, so this is almost a whole scene. But basically, I don't want to treat it that way. I want it to be a scene. So I'm done with this, let's say, and I want to go to Scene Synopsis. And it has taken each of the paragraphs here, or it will. Yeah, so it says scene synopses are synchronized from each of your scenes in the scene selection. Okay. Scenes. And generate scenes, add new scenes. So I'm going to generate the scenes. And it tells you it will delete everything that's in there, so that's okay. And you see it comes up with a list of the paragraphs. It's the first line of the paragraph. So each paragraph it divides into a scene. And then it's listed them with all as head scenes, which at the moment is going to be okay. And I'm going to talk about that in a second. Okay, boom. So that's that. So if I go back to my planning and scene synopsis, now we have in here the blue light. And then I can beef this up as I like. And that is the planning bit of it. So now we're going to go to scenes again. And I have put the scenes in. Now, it calls the first chapter of it a prologue, and you can get rid of that. Don't worry about that too much anyway. Now, it has scene 1, 2, 3, and 4. The blue light, a control panel. Let's expand this for a second. Oh, come on. In any case, this is where this is the synopsis of the scene. And they have it broken down over here in the goal confidence